Hey everybody, Stay Positive number 12. We made it. I'm Sierra, your host, though you already knew that. And a couple announcements, I guess, before we dive right into this fun interview. I am having two fun shows next week that I hope people come out to. The first is on Tuesday. That's April 16th. It'll be at 7 p.m. at Dynasty Typewriter, which is this cool comedy theater that's kind of new around town. It's been open for like a year, so not too new, but I'm very excited because it's actually an audition for this comedy festival called Just for Laughs, which is like one of the most prestigious comedy festivals, and they invite comics every year, and this is my audition for that. So it's like a callback round. Come through if you can. It'll be a short set from me, but like you'll get to see a lot of really funny up and coming comedians on top of me. Yeah, does that make sense? We're all gonna pile on top of each other. And then the next show is Wednesday, April 18th. We've got Harvest Moon number 2, 2 Harvest, 2 Moon, you know what I mean? It's going to be incredible. I'm very excited because obviously the first show went really well. I talked about it already on the podcast, so no need to bore you with the details, but this one's same place, Lace's Barn, Koreatown. It's going to be 8 p.m. April 17th, right? On Wednesday of next week, and it's also got a crazy lineup. We got Kyle Kinane, who's a famous comedian. Ever heard of him? We have Sabrina Jalys, who is a Netflix special extraordinaire. We've got Fizza Dosani, who's hilarious, personally a close friend. That's a weird thing to say. She's great and hilarious and performs all around town. And a bunch of other really hilarious people. Me and my co-host Matt will be there. We'll be performing as well. So come hang out. Food and drinks will be served, you know? So moving on to the guest today, I have a friend on who also actually I met on the job, like on a job. So she's more of a coworker initially and then turned into a friend. Doesn't always happen, but when it does, it's a lot of fun. She's an incredible person because she's low-key very successful, but keeps it very level-headed. I think I talk about that a little bit. But she's also in the entertainment business. She mainly works on the producing side. So she was a producer for the big film that came out last year called Searching, which starred John Cho. And it was like this independent film that blew up and became like a huge sale at Sundance Film Festival. And then I even saw it on airplanes. Like had a big theatrical release, and it was really good too on top of all of that. I mean, it had to be, right? So she low-key was like one of the producers, and her name is really high on the list of people that made that movie, like right underneath the people who basically wrote and directed the whole thing. So very cool. But the best part is that we actually spent a lot of time together on set of my first job that I had out here, and that's sort of where we became close friends. She also imparted a lot of advice on me because she's just, wiser and has been through a lot more. So it's cool to learn from her every time we chat. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this conversation with Congyu. Nice. Hi, Congyu. Thanks for coming over.
Hey, Sierra.
We've had brunch on this very table before, so you're familiar.
Yes, it was delicious Japanese curry.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, vegetable curry because you're vegetarian,
Yes.
vegan.
Vegetarian.
Yeah. Nice.
Vegetarian.
Uh-oh.
I'm trying to be vegan because Kate, my partner, is vegan and gluten-free, and it's healthy, But it's hard. Like, we're on set so much, and you cannot be picky or you starve. And also just don't have
survival.
I'm just not that self-disciplined, but yeah, vegetarian.
No, I mean, I feel like you guys, well, let's see. Now more and more, I think people are becoming vegetarian and vegan. I mean, not myself, but but do you find that it's easier, like, in living in the city?
Oh, yeah.
Los Angeles is like...
Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, not only just LA. Well, Chicago, New York. Mm-hmm. When I was in New Orleans, it was very easy. They also have amazing...
I feel like a lot of seafood.
They do have a lot of seafood. Well, here's the thing. Some vegetarians eat seafood. I don't, but some do.
Pescatarian or whatever?
Yes. Mm-hmm. There's a label for everything. I did cheat in New Orleans.
Oh, don't tell them.
Because it's so good. Oh, my God. Anybody from Louisiana?
What did you eat? What was your cheat food?
I had crawfish just from a party because it's like local culture. Sure those big pots.
A boil.
Boil, like a crawfish boil. Like everyone has that. Because we were there during this big music festival. I forgot what's it called. I think it's country music. It's supposed to be huge. And the people from the surrounding states all went there. It went crazy. People were marching and music everywhere. So I was invited by my colleague at the time, and we had a crawfish boil in his backyard. And the whole the whole street, every single house was having crawfish boil. You can literally do, you know how we do bar, pub crawl here? You can literally do a crawfish crawl in New Orleans. It's fun. So I cheated that to
Crawfish,
experience that. Yeah. I also ate a bunch of just fish. I don't know the fish, but they cook it Creole style, Cajun style, and it's just the most delicious seafood I've had. And it's interesting because I didn't know much about New Orleans before going there to work on the film for 3 months. All I knew was Katrina, Voodoo.
Yeah, I guess the two
Right.
two top hits on
Exactly.
Google.
So when I went there, I realized, oh, it's really unique in terms of culture, language, even because a lot of Cajun people still speak French.
Cool.
And its history, you know, before it was purchased by the United States, it was owned by Spain, then French, and Spain.
Yeah, right. The Louisiana Purchase.
Right, and
Yeah, I guess so.
yeah, and because of that, they have a very unique sense of culture. And like, think of another city. There's no other city in America that has a very distinct food. The closest thing you can think of is like a Chicago pizza or New York pizza.
Sure, yeah.
Right?
Different kinds of pizza in
Right.
different spots, but
But Louisiana has Cajun
developing
food.
its own
Yeah, it's its
cuisine.
own thing. So I had a blast in New Orleans. It would be one of the cities I would like to live in, if possible. I mean, a lot of filmmakers live there. John Goodman lives there full time. We went by his house and we saw his dog just
nice.
laying,
Oh,
sunbathing.
like John Goodman's dog.
Yeah,
Doing
yeah.
well. Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Did you go up and knock on the door?
No, but we took a picture.
Star search.
I know.
Yeah,
we
we
just-
took a picture. That's
like,
good.
that's John Goodman's dog, and doors open. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I guess like just for context for all the listeners out there, do you want to talk about what you do? Because obviously I know you as I initially met you as a producer, but I know you do like more things, so you can expand however you want. But
Yes, you know me as I'm still a producer.
well, yeah, I mean, but I know you're like doing more writing and stuff.
Oh yes, that's what you mean.
In.
I'm like,
yeah.
what do you mean? Like,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Like,
You're also
I'm a dog enthusiast. Is that
commercial pilot. Yeah.
right? What do you mean? Yes. So I went to USC for film school. I graduated not almost 5 years ago. It's crazy to think about how time flies. We met on a TV show called Take My Wife.
Take My Wife.
Take My Wife. Check it out.
CISO. R.I.P. Now it's
Yeah.
on Stars.
Right.
Ever heard of it?
Check it out. Cameron Esposito and Rhea Butcher. Very funny people. Anyway, so we met on that show when I was still kind of just climbing up the ladder. I started working professionally since I graduated, and I was fortunate enough to have met my mentor very early on, who brought me on my first job working on a real film shoot. It was like a $5 million feature film. And he really liked me at the time, fresh out of college. You know, I was still an quote unquote inspiring director. Because, 9 out of 10 people who went to film school want to be a director. Because
I mean, still possible.
I have no interest anymore.
Yeah, get out of here, directors.
Yeah, it's the thing with film school. They don't teach you that there are so many other fields you can be in
really?
if you like film. Like for me, I thought directing was the only way to be creatively involved and satisfied, and that's completely not true. But after I met my mentor. He really liked me and asked me, "Hey, if you want to explore producing, I'm down to train you."
Yeah.
His name is Sav Ohanian, and he is famous for his film Fruitvale Station. A lot of you might know.
Yes.
Yeah, and then most recently he wrote and produced Searching, which I also co-produced.
Amazing.
Thank you. But yeah, that's how I got started. Steph kind of brought me on to like 5 films and taught me everything. Every film I kind of moved up the ladder, and I also worked on other things just from my own contacts that I made throughout the journey. That's how I met Eric, who brought me on board on Take My Wife. Yeah.
That's right. I remember. You guys were always tight, and you had worked before.
Yeah,
and
we
then,
worked before.
And that's like what a lot of our work is. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, just
It's
who you can work with well.
Right.
Yeah.
I like sending people nice gifts once in a while.
Nice,
You know,
uh-huh.
if I know someone's overworking, then I get them a massage certificate.
Oh,
Just
that's a
something
good one.
practical
Yeah, uh-huh.
and personal, and most important, practical. I hate unpractical gifts. but
Sure.
but yeah, so and also like I didn't seek out, like Steph just kind of naturally became my mentor. I didn't really seek out. So there are mentor programs, but I don't know how
Does that feel like
yeah.
unnatural sometimes?
Yeah.
I've seen that before. I know, like, yeah. I mean, I remember when we were working together and Take My Wife. You're always very good about like remembering all the, you know, birthdays on set, or like our 100-day, what's that called, like champagne day, or 100-day
Champagne
roll, or
Champagne roll.
champagne roll.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
called
100
champagne because the 100 camera rolls. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
wow,
not the
okay.
day. Yeah, we didn't shoot
we didn't shoot for
100 days.
100
Yeah,
Okay.
we didn't
Like,
have
how
that
many
much
days?
money.
Yeah, geesh. Okay, yeah, that makes more sense. But yeah, and there are certain things that, like, you know, very attuned to what's going on. So that's part of the job.
It's the details that matter, right? Especially when you first start in the business, because film, music, fashion, these industry, I'm sure there are many more, notoriously difficult to get your footing per se. So you really have to stand out, and will help you to bypass a lot of time and hard work, basically, or labor. You still have to work hard. I mean, there's no secret. You just have to work extra hard, harder than anybody you know.
It'll come with it. You know, like all the other stuff. The detail is the hard work.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh! So when I was watching Searching, obviously I told you this earlier, but you were in the background of one of the scenes.
Yes.
So if anybody loves the movie and pays attention to the details, as we're talking about, Congyu is in the background of the cafe scene.
Yes.
Where it's like a Skype with one of the students, and then he's like, I don't know, I haven't seen Margot, and then
I was
Kanye's in
there.
the background.
Yeah,
it was great.
it
But
worked out
also,
great.
like your title card at the end is like so prominent. It's like the director, like Sev, I guess, and then
the producer. Basically, I was in the producer.
yeah.
I had my
is, like,
single title
crazy.
card, which was
yeah,
great.
which is crazy, and
That's
it's
what
cool
you
because your last name
deserve.
is E. You deserve, of course, you deserve it. But yeah, your last name's E too, so it looks pretty badass. It's like, ooh, what is that?
Oh really? Oh yeah,
Congyu
people.
E?
Oof, yeah, that's another. I have so many stories. I started screenshotting, just notifications online when I apply for things, or when I purchase things. When I purchase flight tickets, train tickets, whatever tickets, concert tickets. When I open a new bank account, the systems will always deny it. They will say, please enter a valid last name.
I know.
Yeah.
It's super racist, but it's also like, because my friends, a couple of my friends in college had the last name H-U.
Right.
Same thing. I mean, it's obviously like two characters, but
Right.
but they would have like all sorts of issues because it was like
Even
at
two
least 3 or
characters?
more. Yeah, isn't that weird?
Wow. Because I mean, Chinese last name L-I.
I
It's
know.
Li.
It's like
is-
a ton of people.
Yeah, a
but
ton
I
of
think,
people.
You know, as
Or
far as like
WU or
European
anything.
last or whatever white
Yeah.
people's last names, it's probably
That's
3 or
crazy.
more. Yeah.
I can somehow like understand one letter because they probably want to prevent people from putting initials.
Initial, yes.
But yeah, I have that trouble all the time. I mean, still to date, I still have to book my flight tickets doubling my last name, put it E E, and then when I check in, I just have to explain, hey, your system wouldn't allow me. And
Oh,
yeah.
that's so annoying. Yeah, they should fix that, I guess. I don't even know.
But yeah,
that's
so
a
it's
lot.
just
I remember I closed out your tab one time in a bar. We were at
oh yeah,
Edendale,
I forgot.
and then I was like, last name's just let the letter E. You know, I was like yelling at the guy. It was
Just
great.
the letter E.
I felt very powerful, so it was fun to be you for a minute. But yeah, and then I guess, you know, back to good old New Orleans. You're a proponent of the animals. You know, you're real rescuing here and there, housing them. You've got your own.
Yeah,
Which
it's funny.
I find admirable because it's a lot of responsibility. You know, I always want to get a dog, but I'm always very like, hey, you know, I don't know. We don't really have like a backyard as much. I guess we could let them out in the courtyard or whatever. But
And if you have a small dog, they're fine. You have a spacious place, you know.
That's
as
true.
long as you walk them.
Right.
Enough times. But yeah, the New Orleans experience. It's funny because when I was there, we were working on the film called Think Like a Dog. Think Like a Dog. I just stumbled. It will come out hopefully later this year.
Think Like a Dog. Okay.
Yep. and we had like many dogs, more than 10 dogs in the movie. It's you can tell from the title, Think Like a Dog. So it's a dog movie, family comedy drama,
Cool.
with Megan Fox and Josh Duhamel.
I haven't seen Megan Fox in something in a sec.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, you were like, I just saw her on set.
yeah, I
don't know
just
where
saw
she
her
goes.
on set. She's
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
Cool. I mean, you know.
Yeah, but
our Transformers. That's about the last.
I know, but
and a
she
couple other
has. I
things.
mean, she does have 3 children, young
Okay,
children,
well, there you go.
married. So
Busy with other things, man.
yeah,
But-
Josh Duhamel is also married.
Oh yeah. I guess he was also in
Kids.
Transformers, so they got.
Yes,
married.
they've known each other for a long time. They're like buddy.
Good. Yeah.
And what else? Yeah, so dogs. When we were there, our production office was outside of the city. It's only 30 minutes, but in New Orleans, it's a small city. 30 minutes outside, you're in the middle of
Sure,
nowhere.
yeah.
It's not like LA, 30 minutes.
Right,
I'm
you
30,
would still
yeah,
be in
you're still
LA.
in
Yeah,
LA.
yeah.
So we were renting half of the building from a government agency. They use the other half. We use the half that's empty. Super cheap, and a huge space. But it's in the middle of nowhere. Literally, there's a creek, and sometimes there's alligator there. There's a
Did you have
there's
to learn how to run from them?
you don't
Isn't
wait. Why do
there,
you
like-
run from them?
Well, I've
They don't
heard that
attack you.
people who. Oh, I've heard that people that grow up in that area where there are alligators, right?
Yeah, but they're
That they like have to learn how to zigzag run from them because they can't like see you if you do that or something.
but they're not in the city. They're always close to the water.
I mean, I
and-
think it's people that live close to the water.
right, and
They have to
they
like, do
honestly.
drills.
I guess so. Yeah, do drugs. Yeah, I'm like, why do you run? They don't chase you. They're not
Well,
crocodiles.
Maybe they will. Oh, is it crocodiles that chase you?
It's crocodiles will attack you even if
Oh,
you
okay.
don't
So
do anything.
alligators
Alligators,
are more peaceful.
they are unless you provoke them. They honestly, for example, this national it's basically national park, but it's called national preserve called Lafayette, Jean Lafayette,
Nice.
Jean Lavie, yeah, Jean Lafayette. Whatever. It's the pirate that
I'm sure it'll be
supposedly
okay.
is a legend. I mean, it's
Oh,
not
cool.
supposedly. It is a legend in New
Okay.
Orleans history.
Nice.
But yeah, that park has a bunch of what do you call it, broad walks, and just alligators laying around.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, you
if
just
it's
kinda
laying
like-
right in the middle of the road, obviously you shouldn't be stepping over it. You kind of walk around it.
Okay.
But they won't be. Oh, human attack! They don't do that.
Okay,
They're quite
so it
small
must be
too.
crocodiles. I'm thinking.
It's
about.
crocodile,
Yeah,
and there's
yeah.
no crocodile in Louisiana.
Okay, good.
It's only
Thank God.
Florida.
Right.
The much bigger. I mean, if you canoe, you'll be attacked by a crocodile, even though you don't do anything.
Got it.
But if you canoe and there are a bunch of alligators, as long as you don't jump in the water, you're fine. That's
Okay.
why they have so many those canoe tours in Louisiana. Like you just sit in ships, which I think is not environmentally friendly because they kind of pollute the water. And also, a lot of tour guides feed the alligator. That's when it gets bad because then they're wild animals. They associate people with food. They will approach you, and then accidents happen. It's best to keep them and us
Accidents
away.
happen. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. I heard that about manatees. That like you can't give them water or like fresh. Sometimes you want to give them fresh water
Yeah.
or snacks or something. But then they like think, oh, humans, and then they see the boats and then
Yeah.
they get all
Yeah.
propelled.
Exactly. Yeah.
Aw.
It's best just to stay away from wild animals.
Yeah, I
Leave them
guess so.
wild.
That's a good rule to hold constant.
Don't kill
But
them.
You did rescue a cat,
Yes.
so you weren't staying away from that one.
Oof. Yeah, so our building, it had a feral cat living underneath the building, and the government people have been feeding that cat for forever. And I befriended 2 of them. They're very nice. They've been kind of rehoming animals because it was in the middle of nowhere. They actually get a lot of dogs and cats being dumped there. Yeah, so
Yeah.
animals kind of just show up, and they will rescue them, kind of give them water, food, and then put them on Facebook, and then rescue them out. Again, I'm a little skeptical of giving out animals just on
to
Craigslist
whoever
and
is
Facebook,
gonna-
because you never know, they might be psychos. Who knows?
Uh-huh.
And you have to make sure the animal's fixed, blah blah blah, so they're not abused to reproduce and etc. But they did a great job, and they even rescued an owl that had an injured wing for some reason.
Aw.
So yeah, they were already feeding this one feral cat who was born underneath the building to another feral
okay,
cat. But that mother feral cat abandoned her.
Generation feral.
Yeah, abandoned her. So she just like grew up there, feral, very feral, like would not let you approach.
Yeah.
So the office people leave her food and water every day, and all of a sudden this black and white tuxedo cat showed up, super friendly. So we're like, and at the time we were already working there for like more than close to 2 months. So we were certain that it wasn't there. So it just showed up. It could be freshly dumped or somehow made his way here. Was very, very friendly. Walked up to you when you call him. And we started feeding him every day. We just bought like canned food. At the time, my partner also visited me for 3 months. I mean, 3 weeks. So we went back and feed him and started playing with him. And we realized he's declawed. And declawed cats cannot defend themselves and shouldn't be outside. First of all, declaw should be illegal, and it is here in California.
It's like you get down to the bone, so it doesn't
Yes.
go back. Okay.
Yeah, it's not just like cutting its nail. It's
Right,
basically equivalent to chomping like one third of a finger. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it's brutal. So it's illegal a lot of places,
Yeah.
and I'm sure it will be illegal across the country very soon. But it shouldn't be outside. That's when we took him inside. He's very easy to trap because he's so friendly. Yeah, we took him inside, and I started looking for local rescues. But understandably, they're all at capacity, and the only shelters available to take, because shelters are city funded, they cannot turn down any surrendered animals. But they are kill shelters, meaning if he doesn't get adopted within like a certain number of days, then he gets euthanized.
High stakes, yeah.
Right, so I'm like, and our film was finished by the time, he was still not adopted or taken in by any rescue. So basically, I bought a ticket and flew him. He hated the flight, hated it, screaming all the way. Yeah, yeah. And then we got him back. He wasn't happy when he got back because I had 2 dogs at home. Yeah, and he was like, why did you do this to me? So he wasn't happy, but then he eventually got okay with the dogs.
Good,
he
You
tolerated.
got him that nice tall, like cat climbing
Yes,
jungle
the tree.
gym thing. Yeah, it's like 6
Jungle
feet
gym.
tall.
6'8".
So you can stay 6'8". I
It's
mean,
solid.
sorry, yeah, 6'8". You can
Yeah.
stay far away from those dogs.
Oof. Yeah, but it's funny. Our dogs really liked him, and he just like, no, stay away from me. And he was like pawing the dogs,
Yeah.
but with no claws, so it can't cause any damage. But the dogs wouldn't be aggressive with him. So, and it wasn't until 6 months into us keeping him that he was finally adopted last November.
Oh.
Yeah, this
okay,
past
yeah,
November.
right.
Yeah, he's
You
now
mentioning
living
that.
in a very big, nice house in Tarzana, running
Nice.
around.
Shout out,
Yeah.
Tarzana.
Yep, he loves
Beautiful.
his life. Yeah, and then we found another dog running in the desert in Lancaster last November.
Oh, good.
When
Right
we still
around-
had the cat, yeah.
vacant. Oh, yeah.
Couldn't find the
Got it.
owner. It was in very bad shape.
Oh.
And we found a rescue to take her in San Pedro. We dropped her all over there, but then she escaped.
Oh.
She escaped. She ran away.
Oh, no.
So we spent 2 days
So-
looking for her, and then we found her again.
Oh,
And
wow.
Then we decided to.
What the
keep
hell?
her.
Where did you find her?
So basically, I was again on a movie at the time.
Casual.
Yeah, and we were location scouting actually when I saw that dog. I'm like, oh my god, it was sitting very. She was sitting very still in the desert, looking across the road. There was a empty lot of some people selling cactus and trees on their truck. And I thought, ooh, that's a really realistic, well-made statue. Because it was so still. I'm like, must be some
Like,
sort of
wow, what-
art,
Yeah, what an
statement.
artistic
Yeah.
masterpiece.
In the middle of Lancaster. Whoa, very realistic. And then until it moved, I'm like, holy, it's a dog alive. And then it went to those people selling cactus. So I asked them, is that your dog? And they couldn't speak English. We couldn't communicate until their friend arrived. And he told me it's not their dog. They only came here every weekend to sell stuff on the truck. But the dog has been around for like 2 months. And they showed me the tunnel that she's living in. And it's like really dirty. And she has swollen breasts, meaning she recently delivered babies. I mean, not babies, puppies.
Same
Same thing.
I
Yeah.
mean, similar idea.
Yeah.
Both cute.
Yeah, but we couldn't find any puppies, so we don't know what happened. It could be she could be dumped after she delivered puppies, or the puppies didn't survive. Who knows? We don't know.
So many possibilities.
Right. So we took her back. She stayed with us for 2 days before we found the rescue in San Pedro. Dropped her off this one morning and went to work and received a call from the lady who runs the rescue and said she ran out. And I'm like, And then, I'm not super active on social media, but that's when social media is really helpful. Because I was on the San Pedro Lost Dog whatever page, and everyone's trying to help. They're posting photos in time, like 10 a.m. spotted at this intersection heading west.
God, yeah.
Yeah,
like
and someone who worked
right.
Yeah, and someone worked a full-time office job, even made a map with the points of interest.
So not the most rigorous full-time office job, I guess.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, she had the
Had some
time to
downtime.
do that.
I mean, we're not.
Right.
I'm not always doing all of my work 100% of the time. Let's be real.
Right. But with the map, you can tell, okay, she's kind of just in this area, circling this area. The first night we spent like many hours there, couldn't find her. There was active spotting, sighting, but we couldn't find her. The second day, I couldn't go down there, so my partner went, and they had an active sighting. They followed her, but she was just super skittish, shy, run away. We had to trap her in Lancaster with my cart, basically leaving food little by little and putting in my trunk eventually. When she jumped in, I closed it. You have to trap her. Very shy and scared. But they had an active sighting, and the dog went into a military compound. And the guard was like seeing a dog running in, and a bunch of people following. You guys cannot go in. But he also saw the dog. Yeah. He's like, you can only allow one person in with one of our officers. So my partner went. They looked around, couldn't see anything. It's funny because my partner was like, the officer was really out of it because they saw prints on the dirt, and the officer said, "Oh, that must be the dog." And then my partner looked. It's clearly a toddler's shoe with a shoe print.
Oh God! You can't tell the difference between a toddler and a
dog. And he's like, that must be a dog.
A really weird, if you're wearing like toe shoes. Like what?
But no, it's how our shoes look like.
Yeah, like
it's
definitely
lined.
Not, like
yeah, it's
boss.
Yeah. So my parents didn't want to be mean because she didn't know it. She's like, I don't think so. And she just said, I don't think so. But then it's clearly a toddler's shoe print.
But also, is there I guess toddlers might live on this military reserve. What was it?
It's in San Pedro. Yes, they're all housing for the for the
so
active military.
Classic toddler on the active military premises.
Right. I mean, there's always a possibility that a dog somehow ran into pairs of shoes and started walking.
Some dogs I have seen, they get
those
nice
have
shoes because actually for my dog growing up, I think we tried to get him some shoes because it was kind of hot outside. You just worry about
they can't walk, right?
But then he hated it. The minute we put him on, he tried to squeeze it off and was able to get it off with his nose or something because it was like, okay, well clearly this isn't for you.
Right. You should check out videos on YouTube. I got a lot of laughs from just looking at dogs first time wear shoes. They became
so you have to train them into wearing it if you really want that.
It's so funny. You just have to type in first time wearing shoes dog, something like that. And they are
Sounds like my kind of content.
Yes, they are like robot machines that becomes malfunction. The dogs the legs go this way, fly in the air, and they can't control it.
I'm sure it's very uncomfortable. I remember as a young kid, I hated wearing socks with the seam because that seam inside of the sock, like around your toe, would bug the crap out of me. If it wasn't perfectly not touching my foot, I would just go insane. You know what I mean? I think I would just be like, oh, I just need to either not wear the sock or twist it around. And that bothered me. But obviously, you get used to it after a while. But I feel like, if you're an animal who doesn't even wear clothes, that's probably going to bug you.
You have very vivid memory of
early
child.
Yeah, there were certain things that bugged me. I was probably I was still wearing socks. So I was probably a top.
So, I don't even know. So before that, you must be super young because before that.
Baby.
But babies wear socks before they wear shoes.
Right. Maybe it was in between the time I was still conscious enough to like feel my nerve endings,
Ah.
but also still wearing socks. Does that make sense? I don't know. But
I'm sure you were wearing socks
I mean,
before.
if you're a dog, you're normally naked, except for your fur, and so I can imagine adding something to that is really disturbing.
It's funny when you said dog being naked, because we always say
Naked
a
dog.
color of a dog based on its fur.
Right,
and I
right.
was like
Underneath
pulling the
this.
fur apart and see the skin. And for example,
Like,
my
what is the skin color of a
yeah,
dog?
and of my cocker spaniel
Yeah.
is gray. It's gray skin, but obviously the fur is brown.
Right, yeah, so
it's a
can-
brown dog,
you're a
but then
brown
I
cocker
pull it
spaniel.
because you have to when you
Yeah.
put what do you call it,
Oh,
flea
flea
control.
go away,
You have
yeah,
to
yeah.
put it on the
Right.
skin.
You're like,
And
this
I'm
dog
like,
is gray.
it's gray dog. It's a gray colored dog. Why do we call it brown?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's a clear flaw in our language. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know if I ever clocked what color skin But some of these dogs have such, like, are they furless? You know, those, like, skin dogs, the ones that have, like, the tuft of fur right on their head. And then it's like, I think it's some sort of weird, you know. Oh, then there's, like, the Egyptian dogs that they're all, like, wrinkly, but they're, or maybe those are cats. Whatever.
I think that's cat.
That's
but
right,
I know
that's
the
the
dog
cat.
you're talking
But
about.
there's a
The
dog with
Chinese
just
crescent
yeah, it's the
something.
Chinese dog, yeah. Those
It's
ones
so
are like
ugly.
all skin.
I'm sorry whoever has it, but it's so ugly.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's not for me, but
My aunt had two before, and yeah, they fart so much. They farted, maybe just particularly.
maybe what she's, you know, it's also diet. I don't know if it's
Yeah, but
in
those
there.
dogs are grayish with
Yeah.
pink spots.
Pink spots. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and the border collie, the one that we eventually found her in the
Oh, she's
military
border collie,
compound,
right.
took her back, decided to keep her after
Happy
the
ending.
experience.
Yeah.
But she has pink skin when I pulled it. So, but she's a
she's
black and white, you know, mainly black dog, but then
Cool.
pink skin.
Pink skin. What? Who'd knew? Got some pink skin under there. Yeah, well, that's important stuff. I mean, like, I'm very much, I don't know. I guess, like, I like to see how people respond to certain things. Because I don't know if I would, if I clocked, I don't know if I have the eye to know if a dog is stray, you know?
You know.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
okay.
no. It's not.
I guess when I was in,
it's
I mean,
running
right,
around.
when
Yeah.
I was in Mexico, there's like definitely
yeah.
a lot, you know. So it's like, okay, I can tell they got like the swollen breast thing going on too. So you're like, okay, they're not neutered, so they're definitely having puppies, babies.
Well,
baby
not
dogs.
neutered doesn't mean it's straight though. A lot of people don't neuter or spay their dogs.
Sure, yeah. So then, yeah, that's possible
Right.
as well.
And
But then
also
it's running
in different
around.
countries,
Yeah.
I can't speak because I am from China, and when I went back to China, I also found out a lot of shops own dogs, and it's kind of like free range dogs. They will walk
They just
outside
let
to
them
other
run
shops,
around.
and they
Yeah.
will come back to their shop for food. It's kind of like cats
Well,
here.
like, we kind of did that with our dog,
Right.
and that's like not okay. But like, whatever, he doesn't exist anymore. It's fine. I mean, he passed. He's old.
Wait, how do you do that with your?
Well, our
you
dog
just-
was very smart. Would come back to our house. And
So you just
then-
open the door and
Yeah.
the
Well,
dog-
and we didn't really have a gate, so we just like run around. We don't really know what it did, but it was fine. So I
Wait,
don't know.
so
I'm
you
probably
opened the-
incriminating myself right now, but we would just let it run outside, and like for a while we would tie it up if it went outside because we didn't have a fence. But then after a while, like it would like get loose sometimes, but he would always come back. So then at a certain point we're like, well, if you want to run around, just come back. And
did
then
he have a
would.
collar or anything?
He had a collar, but like
And nobody called you guys thinking he's a lost dog?
I don't think so. Maybe once,
wow.
but I think for the most part, like our neighborhood was spread out enough where like he could kind of hide, and like it wouldn't be like, oh, bam, you know, like people everywhere. It was just like there was a
Right.
lot of like trails and stuff, so maybe he ran around in areas where people weren't. But yeah, as a result, I think we just kind of let him run around, and then he was fine,
Interesting.
and he lived a long, happy life. He was like 15.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, you got lucky.
We did get lucky.
You get lucky. In
Uh-huh.
LA, elsewhere, you know, if the dog's running loose, that's when the border collie in San Pedro was running loose. We were
Yeah.
very concerned because she was crossing these major roads.
Sure. I mean, yeah,
And
we
could
would
be hit
if we
by
were
cars,
close
yeah.
to like a freeway. I think
Yeah,
that
it
would be a
was
different
scary.
story. Yeah.
Not even just freeway, even
But
just
yeah.
like Las Feliz, you
Sure,
know,
a
or
big
Hyperion,
street, yeah,
anything.
like a
yeah,
wide
it's
street
scary.
or fast drivers. Yeah,
Right.
so you're right. Maybe it was irresponsible, but we got lucky. He's fine.
And also with the coyotes. Our neighbor's cat
well,
got
we had
eaten
a
by
ton of coyotes, but then he was big
Yeah.
enough where like he could like hang out with them. Like I think he kind of like I saw
What?
one
What
time
are you talking
there's a
about?
coyote that was. Well, coyotes aren't huge, right?
Yeah.
One
Cute?
time there's huge.
Oh, okay.
Like they're like small dogs kind of sometimes.
Right.
And one would come up to him and then he would like kind of be like,
But they're
dealing
now
with it.
very much in packs.
And bobcats. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe he was
Yeah.
like one of them. Who knows? Maybe he was friends with them. I don't know his life, you know?
Secretly had an affair with a coyote in the neighborhood.
Yeah,
That's what
they
he
had.
did.
I mean, he was neutered. So fortunately, nothing would come of it. But he could have
Right.
a lot of really safe sex. You never know.
Probably did.
Yeah. But stay safe, kids. But yeah, and then there's, I guess, the one scary thing is mountain lions. But we
Yes.
didn't. I mean, I don't know. Those are like always deep in the mountains or whatever.
Yeah.
You hear about the hikers that encounter.
But you never knew. Maybe your dog hiked,
He
10-mile
he
hike
could've
and went
gone
back.
wherever he went
Yeah.
in the our.
All right.
3-hour
Listeners,
period.
don't do what Sierra did.
Don't do that. But also, look, he lived a long life anyway.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to incriminate myself too hard.
But yeah, that's going back to what we're talking about. In other countries, like in China, like you see a
Yeah.
dog running around, it doesn't necessarily
Right.
mean
You
it's
don't
straight.
have to intervene.
So you don't. Yeah, I actually, somebody in my neighborhood has a free range dog. I haven't seen that dog for a long time, but the first time I saw it, definitely thought it's a stray because it doesn't even have collar. Can you believe it? Usually you put a collar on it. It doesn't even have a collar. So I picked it up and I didn't like it, trying to bite me. I'm like, ooh, okay, and then just walked away. And then not too long after that, I saw the same dog but being walked by a man this time. I'm like, oh, is that your dog? He's like, yeah. I'm like, I saw it the other day just running around by herself. He's like, yeah, she does that sometimes. She gets out of the yard.
Right.
And, yeah, so I guess you can also check the, condition of the dog.
Sure.
If it's like super
like
matted and
yeah.
dirty, it's been on the street for a long, long time. But it's always safe to bring them off the road, especially in LA, because the
Yeah.
likelihood of them,
Roadkill, man.
yeah, roadkill is very
Happens.
high. And at night, especially at night, coyotes. I don't even live near the mountain. You've been to my place. I'm not close to the hills.
No.
Yeah,
You're
I'm
like
quite.
near the mall.
Yeah, and there were coyotes. I told you my.
Well, coyotes like live in cities. They're like known to be urban animals, I think.
Right,
so.
but like because I used to live
Yeah.
in Las Feliz,
Right.
and we had coyotes there, which is
Makes more
understandable
sense,
because
I
near
guess.
Griffith.
Yeah, and here's a park, and like we see.
Right,
it.
but where I am, literally, I'm closer
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
mall. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know where
they're
they
like
come
they're
from.
like going to the Americana. They're like shopping. They're shopping
Yeah.
at that Tesla store. They're
Right,
getting a
change
new
your
car.
fur
Yeah.
color.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Nice mall.
but it's sad because they probably do live in the mountains or hills or parks or wherever,
Yeah.
but they have to go further to look for food.
Yeah.
That's probably what happened. But my neighbor's cat got eaten, which is sad.
Yeah, it happens.
that's
Yeah,
another
no, I
thing.
remember I was telling, I think a friend that one of my friends in elementary school had like this new kitten
Yeah.
and was like, oh, I got a new kitten. Like it was like, we're all kids, so we were all like very excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd be excited about it today. But I remember she coming to school, she came to school, told everybody, and like the next day it got eaten by a coyote.
Oof. Yeah.
Which is so sad, but it was just like exactly out of a cartoon, somebody like
Yeah.
being so excited about something and then like the most gruesome death.
Yeah.
Not
oh,
really.
I have another
Not
story
really.
for you.
yeah. Here
This
on
is real.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Talking about small animals with gruesome death. It's sad, but it's so absurd that
right, that like I laugh at
Yeah.
it now. It's like
Exactly.
been years of processing, but
yeah. My friend had this Chihuahua, and it was tiny Chihuahua. Chihuahua, small dogs, and her friend was dog sitting for her when she was out of the country, and the Chihuahuas hang out in the yard, in the backyard. It's an enclosed area,
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
not like it's exposed to cars or coyotes. But guess what? An eagle spotted it
no.
and flew down and
Right.
grabbed it away.
Like, how do you prevent that? The
Yeah,
skies
yeah.
are ungoverned.
It's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
literally, you just see the dog hang out, pissing or whatever it does
Pissing.
in the yard,
Yeah.
and
It's gotta do
boom,
its
snatched
business.
by an eagle.
That's
Because it's small enough, like
mean,
a rabbit,
Yeah, I think I remember I remember when we were working on Take My Wife, I was like, we were outside, it was when we were writing, and we were just like trying to get our our brains working by being outdoors, walking around a little
Right.
bit, and they brought little Murph the dog, tiny little dog.
Yes,
I don't know what kind of dog it is, but it's like small. It's
Yeah.
Chihuahua size, I would say.
Yeah.
And like there was a hawk that like made a screeching noise, and it was like,
Oh, you saw
okay,
it.
grab the dog. Like
Yeah.
the dog is on a leash, and the dog was kind of loose, I think, at the time. So it was like, put the dog on the leash,
Right.
because at least you can tug back on the leash
Right,
if
yeah,
it gets
exactly.
knocked
It
out.
gets
But more importantly, like cover over the dog. But yeah, what are you gonna do? Like have a like a net, like what you know, to prevent anything from flying in. But that's like some pterodactyl bullshit. Like God, damn.
Exactly. It's just I've only. I mean, it's still a unique case. I don't think it happens.
But it happens. Eagles gotta. Yeah. I guess that's what they do for food. You know, they gotta swoop and get the rodents. So then chihuahuas are pretty close.
Right. I had a foster dog before. It's a tiny Dachshund type, pretty small. I was taking her and my permanent dogs on a hike, and permanent dog.
You're the permies and you're the temp.
Yeah, because I used to. Because now I have 3 dogs. My place is too small to foster. Okay. But when I had less
sometimes
dogs,
you have an Airbnb guest too. So
exactly. Too small.
Which is smart. But
you gotta make money off your properties.
Yeah, well, I mean, you actually own your place, right?
Right.
So that's like legit. I mean, we can't do that here because it's like against the law or whatever. But that's
eventually
very smart.
You'll be able to do.
You're ahead of the game.
Yeah. But yeah, I remember hiking and there's eagles circling in the air. Obviously, my permanent dog Cashmere is big enough. It's a cocker spaniel, like, almost 30 pounds.
Hang him out to dry. He's big enough.
But the small one, I was a little concerned, so I tucked her in.
Good.
But if I didn't know the story, it wouldn't have been my
like
concern.
Air animals are off limits. It's fine. There's no hunting in the skies. Sheesh. Yeah, I mean, it happens. Oh, we had parakeets as a kid, and I remember, maybe it happened in my imagination, but every so often we would let one go into the. Why would we? I don't know what's happening in my family.
You should talk to your parents, like, Dad and Mom. What were you guys?
My dad loved having parakeets, so basically we would have a big cage of parakeets. I would you could kind of feed them or hang out with them, but he would let some go into the wild, and one time I think he let one go, and a hawk came and got it right away.
That was the last time you saw?
I mean, whatever. Yeah, it died, but then a circle of life, and then other times. Oh, this is like a dark, sad story, but whatever. Look, I processed it. It's fine. They would lay eggs, and that's how we would sometimes get new parakeets. But sometimes they would lay eggs that are just empty because it's like, I don't know, it's like an egg that didn't get fertilized or whatever. Then we would throw them out, and I think my dad would be able to hold it up to the light and see, oh, there's an embryo in there. We'll leave that. It's going to hatch one day. And then sometimes we'll hold it up to oh, that one's empty. We can throw it out. But then I think he guessed wrong and he threw it, and then there's a little embryo inside or whatever, and it wasn't born yet. And then it was on the pavement, and then all the ants came and ate it. Over the course of weeks. And I remember just as a kid checking on it every day oh
wait, so your dad didn't clean it up?
No.
So, or did you see it but you kept it to yourself and this?
Oh, good question. I don't know. I think we all knew about it because I've talked about it since.
Everyone
as
knew
being
about it.
One of the traumatic moments of childhood. It is. Yeah, we just left it, I guess, because either we hose it away, but I don't know. I guess
maybe because your dad has medical background and is.
Oh yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't think it bothered anybody except for the children.
Every day before going to school, you're like, oh, the corpse.
Yeah, it was sort of
being eaten away.
There's the ants. Yeah, well, circle of life.
Right.
I guess. But yeah, so speaking of things that happened.
Things that have happened.
We're totally unrelated, but I'm glad I got to share that story live on the air. But I don't know. We've been talking a lot about animals. I don't want to get too sidetracked, but I assume that's part of your joy and part of, what keeps you going.
Oh, yeah.
So, but we can delve more into that. I guess, we're in a business that does demand a lot of self-discipline and also just, internal, I always talk about, being in school, you get a lot of, external validation, Oh, I got a good grade or whatever. But then now, in the real world, there's no report card, So what kind of keeps you, I guess, at it in a sense of doing these jobs that, you're not really sure. Maybe you're going to work on a movie and it won't even really do well. But then, or sometimes it's going to be searching and it's a crazy, amazing sensation, So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Even in school, you have subjects that are objective. Like writing, or especially in college when you go to film school or design major.
Oh, you mean subjective?
Subjective. Sorry.
No
nobody's gonna give you a C because you made a quote unquote a bad movie. You're only gonna get poor grades for your attitudes or not trying hard enough or being late or being late to class and whatnot. So there's necessarily a report card to validate yourself, in my opinion, for some fields, even in school. But in the real world, it's even harder, like you said. And it's so hard not to get peer pressured, especially for me, because you look at your friends. A lot of people are doing amazing things. You feel happy for them, but then you also get this anxiety. Okay, what am I gonna do? I gotta work harder. But eventually, what I firmly believe is in this industry is easier to have a great career, like a great success in a short amount of time. It's still hard, don't get me wrong, but it's relatively easier than to have a long-lasting, successful career.
Yes.
Like I really think that's true because think about all the people, no matter what field they are in our industry, writer, director, talent, whatever. Many people have like one film, one success, and kind of just disappear.
Or like one hit single.
Yeah, one hit single, and so many people experience that. And I would rather have a long-lasting, stable career, like many good projects, many movies that people enjoy watching, than having that one big hit and then disappear. So there's no secret into it.
I don't know, that's a good perspective because it takes the pressure off of anything individually and puts it in like the whole it's a marathon, not a sprint, like that quote, I guess, being.
Yes, absolutely. First, you gotta check if this is what you want to do, because film industry, again, highly competitive, highly unstable. If you're not 110% sure you want this, then find something else. Almost everything is easy. Yeah.
Sure.
Almost everything is easier other than stand-up comedy. That's also hard.
It's all in the same
same realm. Yeah.
And that's also such a marathon. But yeah, I mean, like, were there other careers? Because you went into undergrad, like film school, so that was like pretty early, and so that's like good because you knew what you wanted to do, even if it was like a different area.
Right.
But were there like other like, what do you think you would be if you weren't?
If I didn't leave China, I would be studying Chinese literature because I was really into reading, writing Chinese literature. So if I stayed, I would definitely pick that major.
Nice.
And I draw, so that was about. But even in high school, because I got the only AP class I got 5 was drawing. Actually, was art. All the others you can forget about.
Oh, AP like art, like that was a thing I remember.
That was, yeah.
But
you were probably taking math. What do you mean, how?
How do you take the test, rather? Do they
you have to send in 12, if I remember correctly at the time, 12, paintings. You did, like original paintings.
Great.
You have to send it, has to be different material. Medium, different theme. I don't remember, but basically I sent it in, and that's the only thing I did.
That. Yeah, I never took that, but yeah, that's awesome.
So I definitely thought about taking, like, I don't know, drawing, but then thought that was too unrealistic. Like, as if film is so much more realistic. but yeah, so definitely make sure you're 100% sure about this is what you want to pursue long term. Because if it's not, then pick something that's easier. Don't be so harsh on yourself. Life could be, as beautiful just being an engineer or a doctor or just secretary or teacher. Just being, being something you don't mind doing and you enjoy doing. It's as beautiful. But if this is your passion and if you don't give it a try, your life will be incomplete. Then try your very, very best, because guess what? You think you work hard enough? No, you're not. There's somebody else working harder than you. So you just have to, basically for me, you have to work harder than people you know. That's the only way you can judge, you know. You just have to work harder than people around. And then maybe something will come.
Sure. And like maybe not. But I guess you have to live with that. So do you have so work ethic, obviously that's like a big theme in your life. Do you have any like tips that you do, like to-do lists or lay out time blocking of a schedule, or what's your thing?
I do have to-do lists, and I find it's super old school of me. I still use a notebook. I actually bought it
Yeah.
today, and I have
Should write in.
a box, so I can check the box and cross it out physically.
Nice,
There's
double.
nothing. Yeah, there's nothing as satisfying as physically crossing out what you wrote down as a to-do item.
Oh
you know?
my god, I'm gonna try that.
So
'Cause I
that
also have a notebook, but yeah, I only just check it.
okay.
That's not
also
enough.
cross it out.
Okay, all right, Jesus.
Yeah,
This,
basically.
the secret this whole time I've been unproductive is not crossing it out.
For me, it works great, and
No, that
also
sounds great.
I separate the to-do list into, short term and long term.
Oh, okay.
For example, there's one. Learn about some agreement. That's eventually I want to do, but I haven't decided when it's not urgent. Versus, respond to this email about what that's more urgent.
Yeah.
So there are two different sections. One is
Short term, long term.
yeah, short term, long term. I use my calendar almost as if it's a to-do list. I put super trivial stuff on it, like oil change on it
Yeah,
as
that's-
well.
That's
Just
not trivial. Yeah, I think that's a calendar worthy thing.
yeah, I put it. Meetings obviously and working time. Also put it there. Actually,
Oh, okay.
put working time on as a block. You drag it
Nice.
from like 1 to 8, right? Something like that,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
catch
that's-
up with emails,
that's-
something like that. And what else? I also mark down whatever I watch. Here's the thing. I've had a habit of writing diaries since I was in 3rd grade,
Oh, great.
but I stopped doing that perhaps 3 years ago. I like the habit because when I read what I wrote before, and there were so many vivid memories or emotions, anger, happiness you felt at the time that you have zero memory of now. You
Sure.
just don't remember this happened.
Yeah.
If it won't because some sort of writing, I would not remember it happened. And for me, it's good to I'd like to remember. So calendar kind of functions as that as well. Like, oh, I watched this movie last year with this person. Oh, we grabbed the lunch dinner. So it's like a lazier way of remembering things,
Totally. Yeah.
feeling organized. It's very important for me to feel organized. But speaking of memory, I listened to this podcast this episode on This American Life about forgetting, letting go. There are people who, with memory, I forgot the term, but basically they can remember incidents for decades as detailed as possible. And those people actually have a hard time because,
Yeah,
like
I
a
can
trauma
imagine.
or anything,
Right.
they live it every day so vividly, so
Yeah,
close to
that's something
as
you
if it
wanna
happened yesterday.
forget.
So part of me is like, it's okay to forget. If you don't even remember it happened, you wouldn't know you forgot about it.
Totally. But yeah, I like that because journaling, that's like definitely something people recommend for working through stuff emotionally. But also, I do the calendar thing, and it's kind of fun to go back because sometimes I'll just need to know for some sort of like,
Right.
oh yeah, what did I do that day so that I can know that's like where I should look up that expense or something, right?
Yeah.
On your credit card statement or whatever. And then to go back and be like, oh yeah, I was kind of busy that month. That's great. Like
Yeah,
I didn't even
exactly.
think about that, but I guess I do work, and it's hard because we don't necessarily have as much of a gauge of what work is getting done. At least I feel like I don't sometimes. But when because something like blocking out time to do work that's just on your own, sometimes it can feel to me like it doesn't count because nobody else is involved, or like it's not for something that will definitely manifest, right? So that's why it's nice to, if you put it in a calendar, it kind of makes it official. It kind of makes it like,
It makes
oh
it
yeah,
official.
it happened,
Yes,
right?
and that's our work. It might not lead to anything. It might lead to something huge. So you just have to do it. Otherwise, for example, writing. You cannot fix nothing, right? If you don't write something, you can't even make it better. So you have to do
True,
it, and then
yeah.
there's a chance
You
to
have
make
to,
it better,
like,
and
lay
there's a
down
chance
the
of
foundation.
getting made. Yeah, so you just have to do it. And I have this argument with my friends who do 9 to 5 work and don't understand my hour schedule. They would, like you said, sometimes if I'm home, quote unquote working, it doesn't count working. Working is going to the office, reporting
Right,
at
like
a certain
having
time,
somebody
and
check in or
yeah, but
something.
that's not true. That's another thing. If you want to be in this, you're sure you want to be in this business and make a living out of it. This is your life.
Right.
You're working constantly because even though you're not working,
Yeah.
you're probably thinking about the meeting you have next
Yeah,
day.
yeah,
How do you
preparing.
prepare it? Yes. Oh, maybe you got an idea for a project and you're developing that, and you're
Totally.
still delivering your last projects, etc. You're
Yeah.
always working. If you love it, you love it, and hopefully we all get to, complete our goal sooner rather than later and retire soon.
Oh, retirement.
Retirement.
How timely. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, yeah, because I always struggled with that. I think it comes from, the idea of things needing to be labeled or things needing to be quantifiable. It's like, how do you quantify like working on something that doesn't exist yet? It's very
Right.
very strange. So that's something that I think the journaling helps, and like the writing it down, and also like when you watch stuff, that's true. Because sometimes people are like, oh, so what TV shows do you like? And that does pertain to what we work on or whatever.
Right.
But it does feel like, oh, I honestly like, I should write this down because I always blank. I think
Right.
because it's just we consume so much, and then it kind of blends into one thing.
Right,
Or like
right.
I'm not thinking about it, and it's kind of just a part of like my routine. So then I'm like, I don't know, like what did I eat for breakfast this morning? It just kind of
Right.
doesn't seem as important. But like writing it down is good.
Right. You
way
have
to
to give
memorize.
yourself a schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just have to pretend that you are reporting to an office, even though it's just your home office. You have to get up and dedicate time frame each day to do what you must do. Self-discipline. It's easier said than
What is
done.
that? Yeah. No, fair enough. Interesting. So do you have like, I know that you talked a little bit about comparing. It's a tough game because I know like in some ways it's a good gauge. It's like, oh, looking around you, that's the level of work I need to do. Okay, great. Or like I need to do more than that. Great. Because if you don't compare, then it might be like, I'm slacking. I didn't even
Yes.
realize. But I get, I also totally understand like the comparison game is discouraging.
Yes.
So like, how do you balance that? Especially because you went to a film school. I feel like probably more of your acquaintances are in this area. Like I don't have as many, I think, so it makes it good and bad in the sense that like there's fewer people that I
Right.
know, but then there's also like fewer people to gauge myself against.
It's different. For you went to school for engineering, so the people, you still know a lot of people, but
Yeah, I guess like,
from
it
a
wasn't as
professional,
into
like how we
but
met,
yeah.
we met on a professional
Right.
film. So it's a little different from people who started the same as you, just like fresh out of college.
Right, yeah, like
and
all
where
different
everyone
levels on that
is.
show, for sure.
Obviously, I know many people who quit the business already. It's not for them, and that's totally fine. It's good for them that they found out earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there are many people who are working with studios, getting paid tons. So for me, and although this is cheesy, I stay away from social media because social media, I get peer pressured and feel anxious from, the type of people who post literally any and everything. Like they have a meeting, for example, in Disney, they will put,
Oh, yeah, I'm
a
at Disney.
logo.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
have a meeting, blah, blah, blah.
Right. And you're like, thanks.
Yeah, I'm like, how the graphic says it's Facebook posts the annoyingness when it serves nothing for others, when a post serves literally nothing.
I haven't seen that. Yeah, is that like a group or something or a meme?
It's a stats like those graphic. Yeah.
Graphics.
Yeah, and the iconic type of post people do at the end of year. 2019 was a great year. This year, I graduated from University of blah blah blah. Got a job offer, and with my dream
Learned so
job.
much.
Yeah, my partner and I, are getting married tomorrow. We put down payment. Yeah,
We're getting married tomorrow, by the way. You guys should come.
we put down payment, and it was a good year. I'm grateful.
Right.
And we're
It's
looking
like
for
kind
a
of little
better
bit of
year. Whatever.
bragging
Those posts, like, what's the freaking purpose? If you're so grateful,
I
just
think it's like for their aunt to come and be like, so proud of you, bub. And then sign it, Aunt Maggie,
and then
It's
like
really
it
weird.
or like love,
Which is fine. I have plenty of aunts on Facebook who love to comment on things, and I think they're lovely.
Yeah.
But yes, I agree that those are weird, and I always kind of curl up and die inside when I read them.
Right. I mean, if you're the type of person who sees people who's always bragging per se their professional life, and that inspire you more than discourage you, then I say do whatever.
Right.
Follow keep
all
doing
those
it.
people.
Follow. Yeah, reach out to them. But for me, it actually distracts me. For example, if I saw something like that, and I was beginning of the day, and the rest of the day I'd be kind of anxious. Okay, I must do this now. I must achieve this.
I have to put a down payment on something.
Yeah,
Anything.
yeah. Like, how do I get there within a week? I must shorten the. Yeah, but then it's not realistic. And everyone takes their own pace. Like the director for Hereditary.
Oh yeah,
It was
you
the
told
first,
me this.
first feature
Which
in
I
10
watched,
years,
and I was
it's
so scared.
it's not scary. It's a great movie. I should
You
watch
said
it.
it's not scary?
It's not scary. It's a
So
stylized
scary.
thriller. Oh, you watched it?
Yeah, I watched
Oh,
it.
you watched it. Okay.
I watched it and I did not sleep that night, and then
Oh.
I proceeded to get a cough that lasted for months.
Oh.
But it was a great movie and totally worth it. Because I was kind of getting sick, and then I got peer pressured to watch it, and I arrived late to the theater, so I was almost gonna have to sit alone
Right.
in a theater and watch this freaking scariest movie I've ever seen in my life. I'm not a huge, I mean, you're a big horror buff,
Right.
so so for me it was kind of like, this is a big deal. But friends were, and I was intrigued by the trailer and everything.
Right.
But then when I went in, luckily I found a spot next to my friends. But then afterward, I had to drive home alone. And then I got home and I was like, my boyfriend's gonna be dead. Everybody's gonna be dead. I killed everybody by watching that movie. And then the night I was in bed and I kept seeing the little girl's face in my freaking closet.
No way.
Yeah, like the way that they shoot the movie and like you see something in the background, but it's not quite there.
And the
I
sound.
kept waking up and seeing it, so that's why I didn't really sleep. And then I like got more sick because I had a cough coming on, and then the cough lasted for 2 months. But totally worth it. Fun movie. I get to talk about the fact that I've seen it and brag about that. So, you know,
And it's
worth
a
it.
lasting experience on
It
you,
was.
lasting
And
impact
Toni
on you.
Collette
So
is wonderful.
you got your bucks worth it.
I know, literally, like, I don't have to write about that in my diary because it's vividly imprinted in my brain. But, yeah, I mean, so, sorry to totally go on my tangent of Hereditary,
yeah.
but yeah, that director.
Yeah, that first feature in 10 years, graduated from AFI, and it's worth it. Everyone takes their own pace. Somebody makes, Ryan Coogler made Fruitvale Station right after school, and then that led him to Creed, and then led him to Black Panther.
Sure,
So
so
everyone
that's
takes their own pace.
incredible,
You just
yeah.
had to be okay with it. That's another, going back to what we said, if this is what you want to do, you just have to be prepared for the wait and keep working really hard. And I still believe that something will happen eventually.
That's great. And I think it must apply more and more to just all fields now, just because social media is so, like, every day. Because I'm thinking, even if you're going into something, like, any field, and you just, like, don't even know what people on the other side of the country are, like, doing. But then now we might, So if it's
Right.
like, I'm going to law school, and, things seem to be great, and then somebody posts about something they're doing in the same field or whatever, and it feels, like, kind of similar. I'm sure that happens because people have different internships or different jobs, and
Right.
like as much as in our, I feel like in entertainment it is kind of bragging is like a part of it too, because people are very like
self-branding.
it's like
a part
about
of it, yep.
branding, and it's about like I mean, every time a movie comes out, people go on a press tour, like that's insane, but of course it's important to the business.
Yeah.
But
and obviously,
yeah.
to a degree, like when Searching came out, I reach out to my contacts and send them where to get the tickets, support the film, and I'm very proud of the film to be a part of it. So that it's different than posting every day on every set you're on.
Well,
like,
yeah. A lot of that, or like I'm thinking too of the. Guys, I have an announcement. I can't talk about it yet, but oh my god, so excited. I mean, it's cute, but it's like I kind of find that like cute, but then I'm also
But not really.
like,
Not really
I don't
at
really
all.
know. This doesn't give any information, and I don't think I would ever be the person to comment like, oh my god, like I'm
Congratulations
so
or whatever
about,
it is.
I don't
yeah.
even, because it would feel disingenuous to congratulate
No.
somebody on something I don't even know what it is.
Exactly.
Yet,
And it feels like a bait. What do you expect people to
fishing for
Yeah, like
something that.
yeah,
I
you're
don't
just
know.
fishing
I
for
mean, and it's
compliments.
like like people make fun of it all the time because it is that ridiculous. But then I do see it,
yeah.
and so I'm like,
Don't
we know?
do it,
aren't we
people.
on the same page? Where like we think this is hilarious and maybe like weird.
I'm sure we're not the
But
only
whatever.
one. But maybe everyone's.
I also feel like I get why people want to celebrate. I tell everybody to celebrate those small things because I think it's important. Because if you don't celebrate it too, and maybe your way of celebrating is posting social media, but maybe your way of celebrating is getting yourself like a cupcake or something. So, so I don't want to like discourage people from celebrating.
Absolutely.
Because I do think that, every time something happens that's like positive, I have definitely the knee-jerk reaction to be like, oh, but don't do anything yet because I might jinx it because maybe it's fake or whatever. And then if you keep doing that, you'll never have a good time. You'll just like always be waiting for the other foot to drop, and that will feel really shitty and will probably make you quit earlier,
Well, like you said, everyone's way of celebrating is different.
Sure.
Like at least for me, I don't feel the need
What's
to
your
broadcast.
way of celebrating?
Celebrating what? Like for
Like
job
say,
related stuff?
yeah, say you get a new job or job stuff or just like,
I don't really
yeah, probably-
celebrate that. Cause us,
because I guess then you start working. You have to
yeah,
get-
and also
business,
because
uh-huh.
we get a new job every other month
Not
almost.
me. You're the one who's working. I'm not
No,
employed
like
one.
if you think about it, it's not.
Uh-huh.
Again, we don't work 9 to 5. Usually, people
No.
work for a company for years before they get a better offer or get fired or whatever and get a job. We literally, when the film is finished, we lose our job,
Yep.
and then we get a new job.
But
hopefully
it's still
soon.
like a big deal. Yeah, okay. So maybe, but I mean, or if something does well or, whatever. I guess like whatever would be considered worth
Celebration?
celebrating for you.
Oh,
Which for me is getting a new job because that's a big deal.
getting a new job is great.
Yeah.
Selling something like which you did, which
Sure,
great.
yeah.
I mean, I don't see the point of throwing a huge party. I probably just
you
go.
don't have to do that every time. I invite 80 of my friends over every time I get a new job.
Yeah. Spend all your salaries on
Yeah.
that big party. I just go out and eat, but then I do
Yeah,
that.
that's good.
Yeah, but then I do that quite often. Other occasions.
Right.
I mean,
But
it's
still,
whatever
that's like
you make.
something, right?
Yeah.
Like I think about, I always joke that I'm gonna go to like Porto's and get potato balls.
Right.
And that's like, like a dozen. That's a lot.
Right.
Treat
Yeah.
yourself,
Ooh, you know what?
Yeah.
Traveling. That
Oh,
would
yeah,
be
yeah,
a
okay.
reward. I definitely give myself. Basically, every film when I finish, I go on a trip, big or small.
Nice.
Obviously, if if I have another job coming up very soon, then it will be a week, even 2 days weekend trip.
Nice.
But I told you about my England. I mean, not just
Yeah.
England and Scotland. British.
British.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bath.
Yes. So
Driving
that was
on those roads. You freaking
yeah. I drove
nailed
from
that. Uh-huh.
from London to Edinburgh and then to the Highlands. It was
That's
fun.
crazy.
But that's a way to celebrate
Totally.
a fruitful year. Yeah, for me that would
Celebrate
be
the harvest.
Yeah. Celebrate it by
Yeah.
seriously.
I like
just
that,
by
yeah.
traveling, seeing new things,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure it's for every
Memories.
industry. For me at least, it takes me a few days to even get into vacation mode.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first couple of days, I'm still thinking, okay, gotta plan this, plan that. Where am I eating tomorrow? Where am I?
Oh, you're like in producing the vacation.
Yeah, and like, okay, when we get back, we're gonna do this, but then I would say 4 days into it, you're relaxed.
Got it.
You're like, okay, if I want to spend one more day in this town, I can. So I don't book too far down the road in terms of accommodation. And that's amazing. And you just meet people, all kinds of life. There are people who raise sheep in Scotland that are perfectly happy and satisfied.
You sound surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds very
It's so
fulfilling.
cold
Sure,
up there.
I
Yeah,
guess
it
so.
was.
But look, all the sheep, they got wool.
Yeah, they
You
got
just
wool.
bundle
They get,
yourself up in a sheep.
yeah, they're really happy. They love Scotland. They love, especially the Highland people. They
The
love
way
it.
you're selling this is like, listen,
Oh,
these
yeah.
people, get this, they love Scotland. Have you heard of this?
Oh my god, this
Who
sounds
are
so
they?
wrong.
No, I'm
because
just
I
kidding.
really like
But no,
Scotland.
yeah, I understand.
Yeah,
It's like to
Edinburgh
see
was my
somebody.
favorite city actually, from my trip. But then you see people, retired people who kind of just plant things and have a very fulfilled life, and they start taking lessons, all walks of life. And
Yeah.
there's just so much more than my little project or
Right.
what am I who am I gonna set up a meeting with? Like, it's just so much more than that, and that puts me, in my opinion, in a much better, healthier mental state than constantly being in LA, constantly trying to impress people, impress myself. I think it's important. No matter it's traveling, some people, like Dylan plays drum.
Mm-hmm.
That's his way of relaxing.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Totally. Yeah,
there are people
He said
who.
it's like it's almost like a
Right.
workout too. You know?
Yeah. It's some people do work out, like do extreme sports
Sure.
as well.
The CrossFit. I don't
Yeah,
know.
extreme. Question mark.
Extreme CrossFit.
Like
Yeah.
the guy in a free solo, for him.
Yeah, you could just free climb a fucking crazy rock.
Up-
Yeah, that
a
guy's.
Capitan- Yeah.
I don't know if that's real. Well, I mean, I guess it's
It is.
rewarding and relaxing.
He
in
must
the
do that,
sense,
even though he
but
might die from it, right?
He,
It is.
yeah, he definitely could have died like thousands of times. I did not watch it because hands get sweaty the minute that thing starts playing.
Really.
So
I haven't
gotta
watched it, but
stop.
I'll have to.
It's a hilarious. Like I did not understand what it was gonna be because I saw them win the Oscar and I was like, okay, cool, rock climbing. But then it's like, oh, nothing and that thing, like, and then he fell one time before when he was using ropes before. So it was like, oh, so you haven't even done this with ropes, and like now you're just gonna be like, yeah, JK, no ropes. Yeah. It's insane. But he didn't die. He didn't die. Spoiler. But yeah.
He but it was so important for him to complete himself, to that he must do it. So, whatever works for you, whatever make you feel happy.
I like that that's like the whatever works for you. Maybe you want to play drums or do CrossFit or free climb that mountain, flat rock thing.
Right, other people surf for the same reason,
What was that?
Surfing.
So surfing, yeah. I know people get up like at 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. and go into the ocean. I'm like running the opposite direction. I do not like the ocean. I do, but not when it's cold and not when there could be sharks.
Because at the end of the day, whatever success is, it's all subjective. It's money, status, how many houses you have, what car you drive. It's all not important compared to your compared to your health, your mental health, your physical health, your relationship with your family, friends, and how happy you feel internally. That's what mostly matters most.
That reminds me, like, I don't know if I told you about this, but I was reading this book that talks about kind of a lot of that stuff. What are the things that kind of release us from being anxious all the time or competitive or whatever you want to call it, just being unpleasant. But a lot of it is, reducing the ego and like going into, that's where they're like, if you go on a hike, you get to look at the plants and be like, oh yeah, this world is more than just me and my problems. Yes. And that's why people like end up being a lot happier if maybe they have like a window facing the meadow. Like they did this experiment or whatever where they interviewed prisoners in the same exact prison, but some had their window facing like a concrete wall, and then others had the window facing out on like the field that was next to the prison. And the ones that were facing the field like had a 23% less likely chance to be depressed or whatever. And that makes sense, but I think like it's a pretty significant number because it shows that like that's like as good as some medicines, Yeah. And I think we forget that like, medicine works, but then sometimes you gotta also try other things if that's not working, and then and then I think it's just like really reducing the fact that we are like depending our happiness on like what we're doing rather than like, some things are out of our control and like it's gonna be okay or whatever.
Absolutely. And like say you go to Grand Canyon and
I still haven't been.
You haven't. You're so close to it.
I know. What am I doing?
But you sit there, watch a beautiful sunset, and it's the same sunset, same sunrise every day for the past thousands, if not even longer years. That it happens. Longer. Not just thousands.
I think maybe longer, but I don't know, wild guess.
But every day, no matter you sold a project or you lost your job or some financial hardship, no matter what happens to you or another person on this planet, the sun rises every day, the sun sets every day, the same beautiful view. I don't know. For me, when I travel to places, it just makes me feel small and time feels fleeting, and whatever my little problems are not that significant. It really doesn't matter. And most of the issues we have in life are earthy, worldly, money problems. And at the end of the day, I think anything can be resolved with money is not a real problem. Anything that can be solved with just throwing money at it is not a real problem. Things that you cannot just solve by throwing money at it, death of a close family or friends.
Right, I guess not.
Those are
resurrection
actually,
hasn't happened yet. Elon Musk working on it. I see. That's true. Like, I think it also like freaks people out when they think that that's the case. Like money, if I just get that one thing, it'll be fine. And then everybody talks about like. There's that Jim Carrey quote that's like, oh, I wish everybody could be rich and famous so that they realize that that's not the answer, in the sense that it's also like just as jarring to get to that point. I mean, not that I would know, but to get to a point that you thought would solve your problems and it doesn't, and then that's like, it like would be better if you just didn't expect it to solve your problems in the first place,
Right.
But I think because we always see, like that's what every commercial and stuff is telling us too, that like, oh well, if we just buy that thing, it'll be fine. So I just got to get to work. to make that money to buy that thing.
Right. I mean, we're not saying material gains doesn't bring you joy. Of course it does. You know,
Sure.
like I can't say that because I actually just got a new car and it
Well,
makes
look
me
at
happy.
you. Yeah.
But my old car was very old. It's more than 10 years old.
Okay,
It has a lot of miles. I had it since college.
All right. Well, you
So-
deserve it.
Yeah. But anyway, it gives me happiness because I wanted a convertible. And
you got a convertible?
Yeah,
Oh
and
my God.
it makes me happy, like
Yeah,
putting the
roll
top
that-
down
roll that top
and
down, yeah.
and when weather is
Wind in
good.
hair.
So stuff like that, does it bring you joy? Yes, I feel happy when the wind blows on my face and the sun is.
Well, okay, we just proved everything we just said.
Yeah,
That's okay.
but does that mean I'll be happy in a year? No, like if I'm not in the right place mentally, then I'll be like, oh my god, I need a better convertible, or somebody else
maybe
is
you
driving
need
a
those, like,
more
spaceship
expensive.
doors
Yeah,
or
exactly. That'd be
something.
yeah, that's.
How can you be happy without spaceship doors? That's my
Yeah,
big
you cannot.
question.
That's
It's
what you
impossible.
should work hard for. No, but you know, it's not. It's all temporary, and it's very important to find a balance in your life. Just be happy. In general, I'm very happy because, again, to me, what matters most is my health. I'm healthy, and my relationship with family and friends. You know, I have friends that I hang out with. I'm not lonely. I have a partner that I've been with for almost 5 years. Relationship with my family. I mean, I could use a little improvement on on my mom. I mean, she's so. I mean, they still live in China. You know, we have a lot of differences.
Some distance, but
Yeah.
fair enough. All
But
families.
overall, I'm happy. But and then the reason why has nothing to do with my career or what I've done. Not saying that I've done a lot, achieved a lot. Obviously, I'm still climbing the ladder as fast as I can. But at the end of the day, those are not what determine how satisfied I am with where I am. Yeah.
Yeah, that's sounds very healthy mentally.
Yeah.
And
You have to, especially in a city like LA. There's so many things that could put you in a bad, distract you and put you in a bad headspace. So many. You know, it's a vain city. It's a
the pink wall. You know what I'm talking about?
pink wall.
There's that pink wall
What's
on Melrose Avenue that everybody takes like selfies in front of, or not selfies, like actual.
Is that the
photos.
wing thing?
It's I'm not sure. It's maybe I think it is some sort of brand, but I don't know what the brand is. But anyway, that's like a really LA. You know, everybody makes it look the wings that get painted on buildings, and then you
exactly.
like take a picture in front of it, and it's like an advertisement. But that's I mean, I was recently at an art gallery thing, and it's really great. It's cool just to see people's art and like people who are really just doing like the visual artist path, and it's really cool. But I would say what gets the most traction, you know, is like when they create an art installation where like you can put yourself into it and take a photo of you, and then their like Instagram handle is in there, so hopefully they get like say I took a picture and then it's like like the artist is, you gotta tag the artist, and so people would get advertisement from that. But it's like funny that that's become like a really important thing, because there was even signs that are like, ooh, great Instagram photo ops inside this gallery. So it's like less about selling their art and more about being like, here's another way you can like put your face into my product, into my art, and then therefore like share it as if it's yours, you know, or something. I don't know, it just felt
There's a museum
weird, but it's
for that.
smart.
Museum
I mean,
of
there's
selfies, is that what it's
Oh, okay, that makes sense. There's definitely like a lot of pop-up galleries that happen out here that are all about just getting a cool photo.
Like that
from your
ice cream.
Instagram. Yeah, the ice cream one.
Oh, it's like what, $25 to get there?
Sure. I mean, yeah, it's like it does look really cool, and it literally advertises itself.
Yes.
But it is kind of funny that that's become a real like business here. Like there's a real market for it, because I mean, I'm not saying I'm absolved of any of that. Like I would totally want to go. I guess I haven't been to one of them, but when I saw it, I was like, yeah, sign me up, man. But it's just, that is true that like this is the town, and I think it's spreading throughout everywhere, but like this is the town that is like about like, what's your brand? And everybody jokes about like, if you go up to anybody on the street here and you're like, I'm a big fan, they'll be like, oh yeah, it's great. I'm really
and then
because it could be the case. They could be famous, but yeah.
It's just LA. I don't see myself being here for forever. For the time being, I
Where
really
else
like
would
LA.
you go, you think?
Where else?
Yeah, like what would be?
I like New Orleans.
Cool, yeah.
I like England. I thought
Nice.
other than
Yeah. and kids
being
from there,
cold.
so
Yeah,
that's
kids
like
from
at
there.
least accessible.
I don't know. It could be anywhere. Honestly, that's a benefit of our industry too.
Yeah. Well,
Once
you've
you
been
are
able to experience a lot of places, I guess.
not as much, but once you are really whatever project you write will be made. Once you're there,
Yeah.
you can live anywhere because nothing gets shot in LA anyway
I
anymore.
see.
So you can develop a project anywhere. Just come back to LA, have meetings, and then go to production in another country or state or yeah, that's a benefit. But yes, LA is it's hard. People are vain again.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. It's just the traffic's bad, air quality is bad.
Yeah.
I love living in LA. I have to say that. I know I'm saying everything against myself.
No, it's fine. I mean, yeah, people get frustrated.
Oh, and the housing is too expensive. Housing is too. It just does not make sense. Like when I went to Chicago, the suburb, all the beautiful big houses are affordable. Like two people, a couple can work maybe for a few years and they can put down down payment if they have a good job or they can get a loan and they can afford to have a family if that's what they want to do. But in LA, in order to do that, buy any house, you need like $1 million,
Yeah.
It's too much.
Yeah, I was like walking past a little real estate billboard or whatever, like little sign, and everything was like 1.4 million for like, so not mansions.
Yeah,
like, they're like small, but they're in good location.
Yeah.
I mean, they're big to probably for like a family of 4, but still, it's like I don't know, man. You got to be really, but whatever. I mean, that's just general. Real estate is skyrocketing in all the cities because people love.
Yeah. And then
love
LA
a
doesn't.
house in a city.
Right. Yeah. I do. Yeah.
But I mean, it also. I don't know. You can also not live here, right? I guess. That's
You
like,
cannot.
that's
For us, it's
part
a
of it.
little limiting. Like, what can we do? Because we are creatives. It's not like we can go to. I mean, if you work below the line, there are many great cities. Atlanta is amazing.
Ooh,
they get
that's
they
up and
get
coming.
constant filming.
I mean, not
New
up and
Orleans
coming as a
is.
city, but yeah, as far as
Vancouver
it's
gets a lot of
amazing.
post production and all that.
Yeah.
But for us, we're creators, so we kind of have to be here because all the meetings are
Sure.
still here.
Yeah, I tell you.
And we I'm assuming because you're from here, I'm assuming you like it here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I just haven't really experienced anything else other than like college. But then you're a college student; it's very different. But yeah, I mean, I like it, and it's changed enough for it to feel new and fun. But and not like, oh, I've been here for so long, right? I can't claim that at all. But yeah, I mean, I've always been curious about living in another city, so hopefully it'll happen at some point. And then
You
I
did
can
live
try
in
it out.
Boston.
I kind of did that, as I said. I mean,
Cambridge.
Boston's just so cold. It's just so cold, and I don't know. But I do like it. I just think I'm not cut out for that.
Okay.
But I've always wanted to live in like New York or like,
Right.
I mean, I visited New Orleans at some point. That was really awesome. But Chicago is also very cold, but
Yeah, cold.
has a good
is another
comedy
thing.
situation happening. Yeah, all that stuff. So yeah, in Atlanta, who knows, right? But I think that LA has been wonderful. So far, so good. But even though there are certain things that like everybody could say, maybe less of the selfies.
Less selfies. Less doucheness.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I think douchiness is universal.
It's good.
But in different ways.
If we move to, I don't know, even Austin, and you stay in the the
Austin's
city
a
of
cool
Austin,
city.
it's cool, it's amazing, but then you go like an hour north or something, then you might find
It's
yourself.
a bit of an island.
Yeah, like when I was in New Orleans, I drove to different places. I definitely found myself in the discussion of people asking me, "What's so good about the Democrat Party?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
why
It's
are
a classic
guns just
question,
yeah?" I'm like,
Or people being like, "Oh, you're from LA, like you think you're better than me."
Right.
I'm like, I did not say anything at all. I literally just said my name. But yeah, fair enough. It's all good. But these are all amazing tips. I feel like you've always had your, very practical approach, and it's been inspiring throughout. And from somebody who actually has, career success, but is able to keep their level-headedness. That's rare,
Really?
Yeah. Because who knows? You could have been
I can't.
shooting off your gun in the air. I don't know.
Maybe.
Take your pistol and shoot up
Anybody
in the
can
air.
take the pistol is there, right? And it, quite literally in this
That
country.
is, that's called celebrating. But yeah, so thank you.
Yeah, thank
But
you
yeah,
for,
thanks for doing
having
this.
me.
Spending time here at Stay Positive.
Stay positive, guys.
Awesome.